He's a man who is used to fighting against the odds because he's wearing sandals in this country. And let's face it, that's an optimist at heart, isn't it? That's somebody who says, there's going to be polls, but I don't give a fuck. So would you please welcome to the stage with a warm round of applause, give it up for Denis!
Hello, Guildford. Great to see you all. My name is Denis Erkal. I am an astrophysicist slash astronomer slash scientist. And the reason I say slash is because depending on how I introduce myself, I get very different reactions. So if I say, hi, I'm an astrophysicist, it really ruins the conversation when they say, oh, you must be really smart. And I say, yeah, I am. And that's the end of the conversation. And if I say I'm an astronomer, it doesn't go much better. One time I was flying into Heathrow, and the border agent asked, what do you do? And I said, I'm a lecturer, I teach astronomy at university. And he's like, you really teach that shit? Astronomy? So I think he thought I was an astrologer, which is also fine. Astrology's fine. That's not what I do. I'm an astronomer. And if I say scientist, it's also not great. Once I was in a taxi, and the cabbie asks, we were in Chicago, so he's a cabbie, and he asks, yeah, what do you do? And I said, I'm a scientist. I wanted to test out a new way of introducing myself. And he looks back while driving, and I'm terrified because he's driving down a big street in Chicago. And he says, you really believe all that Tom Cruise crap? So he thought I was a Scientologist. No matter what I say, it's always just a shitty introduction. But the worst is with my mother and my son. I told them I was a scientist. My son looks me up and down and says, no, Daddy, you're not. Where's your lab coat? Where's your goggles? So, yes, this is how astronomers look. We wear Hawaiian shirts, a lot of us. Not all of us, mainly just me. But yeah, I do love my Hawaiian shirts, unless I'm doing my academic degree officer of business where I have to expel students sometimes, and I got to put on a very serious Hawaiian shirt. It's serious business. So yeah, I'm an astronomer slash astrophysicist, and I study dark matter. So I study the distribution of dark matter in our galaxy, where it is, what it's up to, why it's up to, how it's up to, who it's up to, all that kind of jazz. And we've been working on dark matter for 60 years, not just me, I'm not 60 yet, but it's been a kind of a big effort. We spent billions of dollars, pounds, euros, all of it has been spent on this. And there's just two main things we don't know about dark matter right now, okay? Just two. And that's whether it's dark and whether it's matter. So that's not a joke, that's really correct. Anyone, there's still billions being spent to figure out how dark matter is and how dark matter is. In fact, I'm the UK lead of a mission led by ESA. We're going to spend 200 million euro to further study this, to study dark matter in our universe. So no need to applause or clap, just keep paying your taxes, okay? So it's ESA money, comes out of UK taxes as well. We're out of the EU, but not out of ESA, so we're still paying for the space agency stuff. So yeah, keep paying your taxes, please. So yeah, as a scientist slash whatever I am, I do a lot of public talks as well. I went to my son's school recently, and I put the solar system in his playground to scale. Obviously I'm a scientist, I don't mess around with this shit. The sun was to scale, Earth was to scale, Venus, Mercury, all super tiny because they have to be to fit into a playground. And I always try to encourage questions from kids, right? I'm always like, hey, and also adults. I say, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Whatever question you've got, probably the kid next to you has it, go ahead and ask. So one kid turns to me and says, Mr. Erkal, is it really true that the moon is made of cheese? And I said, hey, come on. Mr. Erkal is my dad. My name is Professor Erkal. Second of all, when I said there's no such thing as a dumb question, I didn't anticipate how dumb your question would be. It's a dumb question. And third of all, you're my son and you should know better. So, no, I'm just kidding. Kids ask the best questions. Kids ask way better questions than adults. And being a dad, as a scientist, is like a pop quiz every day. My son is always throwing me curveballs. Some of them are pretty easy, like, oh, Dad, how does a rainbow work? That's pretty easy, just one bounce of light inside of a bowl of water. How about that second rainbow? Easy, 3 bounces of light. Hey, Dad, what's holding us up? Not too bad. Quantum mechanics and gravity, I can handle that. Why is gold yellow? Not too bad. I've learned that. Special relativity plus quantum mechanics, no problem. What is there after space? What is beyond space? I can handle that. I know cosmology, I know GR. But then he throws the real curveballs, things that you might not think are complicated. Like, how does sticky tape work? Okay? There's no laughs because it's really complicated, right? Sticky tape will blow your mind. It doesn't work like glue, it works totally differently. I spent a while reading some papers just to answer his question. But then he gets the really hard questions, okay? Because I taught my son magic is not real, okay? Boo! But I told him magic is not real because he was scared of monsters. Monsters are magic, no monsters. That's a win, right? But then you get the questions like, how does Santa's sleigh work, right? So Santa's sleigh is rocket powered, and those deer are just there for show, okay? They're just there for decoration. That's what I told my son. Then he gets me with a really hardest question. How are babies made, okay? Sit there for a sec. I'm gonna put the science in this, all right? I'm gonna just tiny bit of spinning. I say, look, mommy and daddy both have a seed inside them. It's half a seed of you. We put it together. The doctor puts it in mommy's belly. You're good to go, right? Perfect. He nods his head. He's like, Daddy, what did they do before there were doctors? Give him some candy. Good to go. And we haven't moved back to it yet, but I'm sure we will one day. So yes, kids really give you the tough questions. So, the next bit of my comedy set. Here's my last joke. I've got 6 different jokes. Yes. So not everyone thinks astronomy has any relevance in real life. Some people think it's really abstract, and by someone I mean my friend Nick. So Nick is a real asshole, right? Whenever I explain to him what, and people in back know who Nick is, and he's an asshole. He should have been here, but whenever I explain, I'm talking to Nick about how to start in the dark matter and everything, he looks at me and is like, Dennis, who gives a shit? So he's a great metric. Like, we should write a press release. If Nick cares about it, it's press release. We're going to put it to the public. One time he even fell asleep on me while I was talking to him. He passed out. So he's my benchmark. What I do is interesting. So we love Nick. But yeah, I think one of the reasons that people think astronomy is not really relevant for everyday life is because of time scales, right? Imagine you just turn on the BBC and the reporter says, astronomers have just figured out the Earth is going to melt, the sun is going to expand into a red giant and annihilate the Earth. It's going to melt the Earth, melt Venus, Mercury, they're just gone. And you watch them and you're like, oh shit, that's pretty serious news. And then the reporter says, and they just find out it's going to happen in 5 billion years. You're like, yeah, whatever, 5 billion years, who cares? Doesn't matter. So people think it doesn't matter. There's another thing that's going to happen, so they turn on the news again, that channel, so you don't like it, it's kind of scared you change the channel. There's another reporter, just in, astronomers have just figured out Andromeda, which is a galaxy about twice as heavy as our galaxy, is going to smash into our galaxy, causing star formation. It's going to, ionize the Earth's atmosphere and just kill everybody. And you're like, oh crap, also really bad news. I don't like the news these days. And the reporter says that, and that's going to happen in 5 years, 50 years, 5 billion years. You also don't give a shit. But I've got to tell you, 5 billion years from now, a lot of shit's going to go down. So do not be here. If you're still on Earth, you better be gone. But 5 billion years from now is not a good time for the Earth. All right, so lastly, my job is really fun. I get through a lot of fun stuff. I get to do fun calculations, just talk around stuff with my friends and colleagues. But my job is kind of special in that my job has an amateur version of it. So most high-end professional jobs don't have amateur versions. There's no amateur surgeons just on the weekend doing surgery. There's no amateur lawyers, sneaking into the courthouse, banging the gravel, guilty. That doesn't happen. But my job has something called amateur astronomers. And what's really embarrassing is those amateurs are better than us in what the public thinks astronomy is. So if you think, where are things on the sky, where is Alpha Centauri, where is Deneb, where are all those stars? Professional has no idea. I don't know where any star is on the sky apart from the North Star. That one I know, but that's it. Everything else I know the coordinates of, but nothing else. So if you ever want someone who can impress you with looking at the sky, don't talk to the pros, you gotta go to the amateurs, because they're the pros at that stuff. So yeah, that's my shtick. I hope you've had a lot of fun tonight, and thank you for coming. And yeah, you've been great. Thank you.
Can you answer the question that we really want to know, though?